So, what do you want to talk about? Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer. WrestleMania 40 is officially in the books. WrestleMania XL, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, has come and it has gone. And I gotta say, it was a damn good show. I really enjoyed the entire thing from start to finish. I don't think there was any bad matches. There wasn't really any downtime. I felt like everything flowed nicely. I think all the matches were placed in the right spots and everybody hit their marks, and it was just a fun two-night event, and I really enjoyed the whole thing. Obviously, the biggest story coming out of WrestleMania 40 is Cody Rhodes becoming the WWE Universal Champion, finishing his story, and how spectacular a moment that was. That was truly the definition of a WrestleMania moment, and one that he deserved. But I want to quickly run through some of the other matches on the card. I apologize if I forget any of the matches. I'm going to do my best to do a quick run through of them all. But if I leave any off, just forgive me. So we started off the event, night one, with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, what I thought was a very, very good match. And Rhea obviously came out on top, beating Becky Lynch to retain the Raw Women's title. I do think that was the right choice. I don't think Becky needs it right this moment, but I do think that match elevates Rhea to a higher status. Moving on from that was the six-pack ladder match challenge. And I knew they were going to split up the titles between Raw and SmackDown. I think that's the right thing to do. I think they've been unified for too long. So splitting them up makes sense to me. Now, I don't know that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory winning the titles was the best decision to make booking-wise, but I understand why they did it. Now, obviously, the highlight of that match, though, was R-Truth and The Miz becoming the Raw Tag Team Champions, and that was just... it was a very special moment, and it was one that I was glad to see. I watched the show with my brother, and I think that might have been one of his favorite parts, if not his favorite part of the entire event. Then, of course, you had Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar taking on Rey Mysterio and Andrade. And another match that I thought was very good. I wasn't really invested in this storyline as much, but the match delivered. Of course it did. Rey Mysterio was phenomenal. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. And Andrade is he's fantastic as well. Dominic has come a long way, and Santos Escobar is also really good. These four men are very good wrestlers, so of course they're going to have a good match when you put them in there, but I was pleasantly surprised by how good this match actually was. Then came Jimmy and Jey Uso. If I had to pick a match that maybe was a little bit of a lull in the show, this would have probably been it. I understand the story they were going for, but this just wasn't necessarily for me. I don't think it was a bad match, but I think it could have been a lot better. I think that these two maybe just had some chemistry issues, which is shocking considering they're twin brothers and have been wrestling together their entire lives, so I don't understand. But I think that that's what happened, and it wasn't a bad match, like I said, but it could have been better. Then you had the 6-women tag team match. You had Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi taking on Damage Control. And it was another match that I thought was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't a show stealer, but again, it was pretty good. And of course, the team of Bianca, Naomi, and Jade came out on top, which is the right decision there as well. And that brings us to the main event of night one, which was The Rock and Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. This match ended up being the second longest WrestleMania match in history, coming in at 45 minutes. And I haven't quite seen the time of the Night 2 match, but I would imagine it's not really that much shorter, if any. Like I said, I haven't timed it. I was kind of just too enthralled with everything that was happening. So if I'm wrong, just go ahead and let me know in the comments. It's fine. But I understand the pacing of the match wasn't for everybody. The first half of the match was very slow, very meticulous. It almost seemed like they were afraid of being hurt, which maybe that they were just trying to protect themselves so they could make sure that they hit the stuff in the second half and make sure that Cody and Roman made it to night 2 without being hurt in any way. And so same thing goes for Seth. So that makes sense to me. But the second half of the match I thought was a big improvement. You had The Rock finally taking some bumps. He took he took a rock bottom himself on the announce table, which was a crazy sight to see. And there was this weird visual of The Rock kind of diving into a Cody cutter, which it was just a timing thing. That's not that big of a deal. I think it was still cool. I enjoyed this match. I knew what the outcome was going to be. It was predictable, but sometimes predictable is the best choice. So I don't have an issue with that. It was a good match, and it led us directly into night 2 where we needed to be, and it raised the stakes against Cody. He had his back against the wall, and that's exactly where we needed to be to properly finish this story with the emotion and all the force that it needed to feel the perfect way that it felt. By the way, don't miss a single bone-crushing upload. Hit that subscribe button, unleash the horrors, and become a member of the WWH Universe. We're not just wrestling with horror. We're delivering it to your screen every week. Night 2 of WrestleMania 40 started off with a bang as we opened up the show with Drew McIntyre challenging Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and the match kind of went exactly how you thought it would. Seth still kind of reeling from the beating he took the previous night. It took Drew like maybe 5 claymores to finally get the win, but he got the win. And then right after the match, Drew McIntyre couldn't help himself. He gets up on the announce table. He starts mocking CM Punk. Punk takes him out and gives him a couple boots. And here comes Damian Priest. You know what? He cashed in his money in the bank. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. Congratulations, Damian Priest. I can't wait to see where that goes from here, because I think it's going to be very interesting to see what he says tonight on Raw, what Drew McIntyre has to say on Raw, and what Seth Rollins has to say on Raw. So there's a lot of different directions that they can go from here. We had LA Knight taking on AJ Styles in a match that, yeah, it was another one that I wasn't completely invested in. Their little brawl at one of the media events earlier in the weekend was pretty cool. It kind of got my interest up a little bit, but even despite having the video with LA Knight showing up at AJ's house to try to hurt him, I don't know. I just wasn't really into this feud, and I thought that this match was very predictable. It wasn't a bad match. AJ and LA Knight are both so good that they're not going to have a bad match. So it was a good match, but I just wasn't completely bought into the whole story of it all, and I don't know. Maybe I just wanted a little more. You know what? I said I was going to forget a match, and I did forget a match. Gunther and Sami Zayn. I left Sami Zayn out. How could I leave Sami Zayn out? He won the Intercontinental Championship from Gunther. He ended Gunther's reign of 666 days. Probably should have gone, it would have been nice to go a day up or a day down, but whatever. Sami won that title, and it was a nice moment seeing him come out and Kevin Owens saying, go get this. And then the next night, when Kevin Owens came out for his triple threat match for the U.S. title, Sami was standing right there waiting, saying, now it's your turn. I feel like that was just a nice moment between two real-life best friends. And it's nice seeing that WWE hasn't forgotten about the partnership that they had, especially considering last year they ended the Usos' record-setting reign for the tag team championships. But of course, that is the start of this triple threat match. Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. It was a very good match. I was pleasantly surprised. Again, I didn't expect a whole lot. I know KO's great. I know Randy Orton is phenomenal. He's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. And Logan Paul is respectable in the ring. He continues to shock me with the amount of athleticism and the things he's able to do in such a short period of time. So I did think the match was very good. Wasn't a fan of the ending. I'll just throw it out there. I was excited because I got to see Randy Orton. He promised that he was going to pull out something crazy, and he did. Kevin Owens went for a pop-up powerbomb, and somehow Randy Orton turned that into an RKO. I don't know how the physics of that worked, but Randy pulled it off because of course he did. Like JBL says, if you were to build a sports entertainer from the ground up, it would look like Randy Orton. And I wholeheartedly believe that. But of course, things didn't really work out for that because, Logan Paul came in, he did the whole toss the guy out of the ring and just steal the pin. And you know what? It kind of took the wind out of my sails. I understand why Logan won, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad decision. But I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little bit disappointed in that outcome. And there was also a moment in the match where Randy Orton absolutely demolished IShowSpeed with a brutal kick and then hit him with an RKO on the announce table. And, you know, maybe Randy's just that good of a worker, but he actually looked a little aggravated with the dude. And that brings us to Bayley versus Io Sky. And Bayley did it. Bayley gets her WrestleMania moment, and I could not be happier about that. She deserves it. She won the Royal Rumble match, and I think that it is a perfect time to let her really shine. I know she's one of the 4 horsewomen, and she has held the title before, but let's let her shine in a new way and really show people that she is who she's always been and better than she's ever been. So let's showcase that going forward. That brings us to the main event, the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, in my opinion, and one of the most important. Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes. Cody came out with this really cool looking mask. He had Brandy by his side. They did this little intro for him. He had the Cody Vader back. He comes to the ring. Roman gets his own special entrance too, but he came out alone. He did not come out with any bloodline members, and which, I'll be honest, kind of shocked me a little bit. Cody and Roman start fighting. They go 10, 15 minutes maybe, and that's kind of when things start to happen. You had Jimmy Uso making a run, and then Jay comes out, distracts him, beats him up, he spears him off the dang stage. And then after that, you know, a few more minutes go by, then Solo comes out, does the dang spike on Cody again. And who's left to come out now except John Cena comes out and gets some revenge on Solo, because that makes sense. And then here comes The Rock, and The Rock and John Cena have a little stare-off. The Rock hits John Cena with the rock bottom because, you know, they had their 2 WrestleMania matches. And, of course, who's going to come out to stop The Rock? Surely it's... Wait, it was The Undertaker? Who is Undertaker in this story? Yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense for Taker to be there, but it was still cool nonetheless, hearing the gong and then Undertaker appearing from out of nowhere and giving The Rock a chokeslam. And that ultimately allowed Cody to secure his win, but there was one more catalyst there. See, Seth Rollins had also entered the match in full Shield regalia and with the Shield entrance music. Roman had a choice. He could have hit Cody with the chair, or he could hit Seth Rollins with the chair. He chose to let his animosity towards Seth and his hurt and his betrayal that he felt because Seth turned on him all those years ago, he let that overtake him, and he chose to attack Seth, which allowed Cody to hit 3 crossroads and get the 1, 2, 3 to finish the story. But even though this story is finished, a new one is beginning. And what I mean by that is, yeah, Cody has spent his whole time in WWE saying, I'm here to finish the story. I've got to finish the story. When one story ends, another begins. I mean, that's just the way it goes. It's that way with everybody. But I do think Cody is going to have a very good title reign. I don't think he has to hold it forever. He doesn't need a super long reign. It doesn't even have to go a year. It could go a couple months, and I think that would be fine because he is just this white-hot babyface that could do no wrong. And that's the way he needs to be pushed right now. He had this emotional moment. He got his Bret Hart moment with everybody coming out and lifting him up and celebrating with him. Everybody. He had Triple H come out, Bruce Pritchard, his mom. He handed the title to his mom. He said he couldn't hand it to his dad, so he handed it to his mom. And you know what? I'm proud of my coach. I think that was a really special moment. I know everybody who has ever trained with Cody at the Nightmare Factory felt the same kind of pride that I felt for my coach in that moment. And it was one of my favorite things that I've ever witnessed in my entire life, professional wrestling related or not. It was that important to me, and it was that good of a feeling, and I loved every second of it. And like I said, I'm proud of you, Coach. So let me know in the comments, what did you think about WrestleMania 40? Were you happy with the way the story finished? Did you think that Cody should have lost? I think you're crazy if you think he should have lost, but we can talk about that in the comments. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more coming your way very soon. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.